Hello, hello. I am Sinner, and I am back with another video. And today I am reviewing prior analytics. This has to be the most boring, slow, hard to read um, book by Aristotle I've ever read in my life. This book, this book here was horrible. Not that it was uninformative, but that it was just so painful to get through because everything was, how do I put it, just slow, basic. Basically, what this book is Aristotle is trying to come up with a form of logical argumentation called syllogistic logic. This is a very basic form of logic where you have a major and minor proposition and a conclusion. And you have a and the major is the first one, premise one. It's a general statement, a big general statement. And then premise two, which is a specific statement. Um, so you have one about a universal, then one about a particular, and then a conclusion, right? So a basic example would be, um, all computers have microchips. That a computer made this video. The computer that made this video had microchips. Basic example, all paper uh, is, comes from trees. This is paper. This came from a tree at some point. This sort of stuff. Or, it's like if cats, um, if cats are all brown, then there are no black cats. Uh, this cat is black. Therefore, um, not all cats are brown. All these very basic uh, syllogisms. It's very, very basic logic. Um, but because he's sort of creating it from scratch, he has to go over every single rule and every single, um, like, every time it works, every time it doesn't work, why it works, why it doesn't work. And honestly, it was the most boring thing I've ever read, genuinely. It kind of made me feel like, and this is going to sound like a weird thing to say, but it reminded me of studying statistics in university. In my first year of university, I studied, I did 1 unit of statistics, and I did a second unit later on. And statistics is so boring, genuinely. It's so boring, but you kind of have to do it, because you need to know how how statistics work, how a standard normal distribution works, and what you can infer from it, and how to figure out a confidence interval and all this other stuff. Not because you'll actually enjoy it, but because if you're doing any sort of scientific degree, you're going to need to know a bit of statistics. So that's how it felt. It's like, well, I don't like this. This logic sucks. Reading about logic sucks. Reading about the same formula in all of its different iterations has got to be super boring. But it has to be done. It has to be done because, um, you know, It's necessary. You got to learn about logic if you want to study philosophy, if you want to improve your like broader knowledge. Syllogistic logic is out of style. People use propositional logic these days, but still, you know, it needs to be studied. But man, is it boring? It is so boring. Um, Overall, I think it's kind of the thing is as well, which I'll say with propositional logic, or syllogistic logic, sorry, is that a major problem is like with other books by Aristotle, you can actually like kind of think about it. You can kind of think like, oh, do I agree? Do I disagree? But this is like so foundational that there's no there's no disagreeing with what he says. It's just like reading a dry textbook, really. It's reading a 2-3 thousand year old textbook and being like, yay, this is fun. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Um, I don't know if I would recommend this book. Uh, I would recommend it if you want to have a strong philosophic and epistemic foundation. If you want to be familiar with Aristotle. But would I recommend this book if you were wanting to have fun? No. Um, that's all. I'm Sinner. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye bye.